Welcome back. You're listening to This Week with Gavin Jennings and Colm O'Mungoyne. Mary Hanafin is the Minister for Tourism, Culture, Sport and Enterprise, Trade and Innovation. She also wants to be the next leader of Fianna Fáil, and she's with me now in our studio. Minister, thank you for coming in to us today.
Afternoon, Gavin.
Why do you want to be leader of Fianna Fáil?
I want to be leader of a party which encourages young people, which involves women, which enables all members of Fianna Fáil to go back to the stage where they could say, I'm proud to be a member of this party. I think it's one that needs to be renewed back into the ideas of being a great movement around this country. It always was that. Obviously our core function is to be in government, to be in opposition, to be articulate members of the Dáil, but also to reflect what the issues are in society. And I believe that with my own background and experience, and obviously my commitment to the party, but particularly the work that I've done over the years with young people, teaching for so many years, and then as an elected representative and my ministerial jobs, I feel that I'd like to put myself before the parliamentary party. You have to convince your parliamentary party. How many members are going to support you? What I did yesterday was I took soundings. I rang a number of people, a broad range of people, and said that I wasn't actually asking for their support at this stage, but I was asking them for an indication as to whether they thought I should go for it. And that was the message I got. I was very encouraged by that. Do you have any support at this stage? Yes, I do have. Not for running, but to be the leader? Yes, I do. I believe that I have, and I think that people are looking from different perspectives. If we're looking as a party for something that's new and fresh and a completely different image, well then I think I fit that bill. And I've certainly had people saying that they feel I represent, I suppose, the East Coast Dublin area, being in Dunleary constituency, but also having that rural background. So it's a good blend there. And I think more than anything else, they know my concerns on the whole social policy area. At least 15 TDs have said they will support Mhann Martin. How many TDs have told you they will vote for you? Well, it's only last night that I declared, as you know, and this morning I was doing my work in my new role of enterprise in the RDS showcase. So I will start phoning everybody else now again this afternoon. But you at least have two, I presume, in Pat Carey and Maura Houghton, who will propose and second your leadership. That's right, the perfect balance between the minister and the backbencher, the male and the female, and the urban and the rural. Without knowing if you have sufficient support, is there any point in running? Oh, there is. There absolutely is. I think it's really important that we have a contest this time for the leadership of Fianna Fáil. You know that many within the party were unhappy with the stance that you took over Brian Cowen's leadership within recent weeks by not being more forceful in the run-up to and including the parliamentary vote during the week. Well, it was either a win-win or a lose-lose. I mean, I had made it quite clear last week to Brian Cowen that I felt he should resign for the good of the party and heading into the election. And that's the way I voted in the parliamentary party, and people know that. I know that some people were disappointed. You were less than vociferous at the parliamentary party meeting in terms of why you were voting that way. No, because there was a secret ballot, and I did feel... But if you want to lead the party... But I wasn't part of a heave, and I've always said that I would not be part of a heave against a leader of Fianna Fáil, but that if the vacancy came up, that I would contest it. And I took the view that of course I would vote in accordance with my views, which was that I voted against the motion of confidence. And I just didn't at the time try to influence other people, because I've sat through meetings in the past where that happened. And then when it came to Thursday, I went into the Taoiseach on Thursday morning and I said, this is wrong, and that we could not possibly fill those vacancies. And actually Thursday for me was a far more fundamental issue, because that was an issue that went to the heart of government. And as a government minister, I felt that this was the wrong thing to do and I couldn't put up with it. Mhann Martin had the courage of his convictions. He resigned his position in Cabinet. He was vocal in his reasons for why he was opposed to Brian Cowen continuing to lead the party. You haven't had the courage of your convictions in resigning your seat, nor have you been as vocal. Why would you make a better party leader than Mhann Martin? Because this is not now about opposition to Brian Cowen. This is about the future of the party. It's about leadership. And I think the difference between being the leader of Fianna Fáil and Taoiseach has now been shown that it can actually happen, that there is quite a distinction between the party and government. Well, that's a distinction that still has to wash with everybody else. It may have been internalised within Fianna Fáil. There's no guarantee that the public have accepted that explanation. I know, and I certainly accept that, but this is not about last week, this is about next week. And it's not even about next week, it's about Fianna Fáil and the next election. It's about Fianna Fáil and the future. Leaders in Fianna Fáil tend to last for a few years, and that's why I think we really need to refocus. We've a lot of really, really good young people in our parliamentary party who need to get the break, who need to be our spokespersons, and if in government deserve to be our ministers. We are very badly served by the number of women in our parliamentary party, and yet half the population in this country is female. But we don't do enough as a party to encourage or even to indicate to women that we are on their side. And I have to say, and I take responsibility for decisions that we've taken in government, and I take responsibility for any of the measures that I've brought in myself in various ministries. But I'm also very, very strongly of the view that in all the talk we have about the difficulties of the economy, that we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that Ireland is not just an economy. We're a society, we're a community, and we have to make sure that the policies that we progress on education and on health and on all of the issues that I feel so strongly about are not forgotten
in terms of the
difficult economic
of Fianna Fáil,
times.
it's the community of Fianna Fáil TDs you need to convince.
That's right.
Many of them are unhappy with the stance you took during the week. You could then be accused, for example, if your chances are diminished by that feeling within the party, of simply putting yourself up for election as leader of the party in order to help save your own seat.
No, the one thing that will help to save my seat is my work on the ground in Dunleary for the last 13 years.
And the increased publicity as part of a leadership campaign, that won't help?
No, I mean, I'm not that cynical, and not only that, but the people of Dunleary are not that cynical either. You know, people of Dunleary are judging us all on policies, on performance, and on work done, and that's certainly the message I got on the doors canvassing yesterday.
And do you not think Fianna Fáil TDs,
no.
when there is a widespread feeling within Fianna Fáil that it's a bad idea for both you and Barry Andrews to run in Dunleary with no guarantee of you even taking your seat, you're not much prospect of a leader then, are you?
Well, first steps first. I mean, obviously, the first contest that's on at the moment is this one. I'm continuing to do my work very carefully as Minister for Tourism and as Minister for Enterprise, as I've proven this morning at a public function. The next major battle, and I know it is a serious major battle in Dunleary, is, of course, to win my seat. But I have always indicated that if there was a vacancy for the leadership of Fianna Fáil, that I would put myself forward. And I do that really attached to the firm values and principles that our great party stands for, but recognising that it needs to be renewed, that we need to broaden that base, and I believe that with my experience and with my energy and commitment that I have the ability to do that.
You were on the Frontline programme earlier on during this week as part of a focus on the Dunleary constituency. Your party colleague Mary O'Rourke, an influential backbencher within the party, described your appearance on the programme as being that of a prim aunt. What's your response to that?
Well, I just have a particular dress sense. Maybe not everybody likes it.
You don't think that it perhaps reflected her view and a widespread view within the party, that unhappiness of you not being more vocal over Brian Cowan's leadership?
Well, I think the prim she was talking about was the way I sat and the way I dressed, and I always tried to dress properly and I always tried to sit properly. And it was an interesting programme. Perhaps the most interesting part of that programme was that the leader of the Labour Party chose not to turn up.
Can I ask you finally about the next couple of weeks ahead for the government? You this week said, for example, in repeated interviews that you didn't have faith in Brian Cowan continuing on as leader of the party, and he is no longer leader of the party, but you were still happy for him to be Taoiseach. Explain that dilemma to us.
Because I think as a government and as a member of that government that we all take responsibilities for the decisions of government. And what we talked about last Tuesday was a party matter. What we talked about on Thursday was a government matter. What we're dealing with today as the leadership of Fianna Fáil, again, is a party matter. And I know that we're leading in now to an election. But the country's not going to stop while all of this politics goes on.
Can you explain to voters why it's good, why you feel it's good enough for Brian Cowan not to lead the party but to continue to lead the country?
Because it is only for a few weeks. It is only why we get the finance bill through. But I mean, there's work that still remains to be done.
But he could have carried on for a few weeks as Fianna Fáil leader.
He could, but that wouldn't have been the new beginning that we were looking for. I mean, when I spoke with them, what I said was, I think in the best interest of the party...
Does the country not need a new beginning?
That's up to the voters to decide at the election. And that is the great choice of democracy in this country, that people can decide who it is that they want to lead them, what party they want to lead, what policies they want to lead to. And the one thing that this election will do, it will, I think, bring the debate back away from just only the personalities, but to look at the policies and to see what are people saying, what are Fine Gael and Labour saying, what are the differences between them, what are the alternatives for government, and that's really what we want to focus on. I know that the people of this country have obviously an interest in what happens in the largest party in Fianna Fáil, but it's not their main interest. They're interested in their families, they're interested in their young people, they're interested in their jobs, they're interested in the future of this country, they're interested in the income that they have coming in, and the quicker we get back to dealing with those issues, the better.
Mary Hannafin, thank you very much for coming into studio today. Colin.